Hello everybody, Marty Errico, TradersAudio.com, coming to you from the NYMEX here. Just looking at crude oil today, we saw a nice sell-off here in the afternoon, according to news out of the Seaway Pipeline. Basically, there was, in the Jones Creek area in Texas, there was a 175,000 barrel build there for the day where they had to now export oil and make arrangements for the tankers to deliver it somewhere else because of the fact that there was basically a little bottlenecking problem coming out of the Cushing, Oklahoma plant. So again, Seaway Pipeline News making this market catch somewhat of an offer here. On that, we saw the Brent WTI spread really just widen up big time again by $2 today. That's big, and we saw crude obviously fall on that as well. As the spreads widen, crude goes lower as they tighten up. Crude usually typically catches a bid. Also looking at vol here, vol caught a very nice bid after this news here. Again, we saw crude implied vol trade about a vol and a half higher. We saw the OVX trade about $2 higher as well. So watching a little bit of a bid in volatility during this news as well. Today in the pit session, we saw 96.73 on the high end of our trade. We saw 94.95 on the low end, and we closed and settled above the 95.30 area. So again, giving us a little bit of some hope here that we can hold this $95 area in the crude. Looking ahead now at, first looking at our API numbers that we had released tonight here, we saw crude have a build of 3.2 million barrels. We saw RBOB have actually a draw of 1.6 million barrels, and distillates have a build of 1.3 million barrels. So again, watching a build there in the crude oil, quite significant here. So we're really going to have to see how we can hold this $95 handle with this being the bottom of a lot of call spreads here. This could be basically this big area and big value area to see whether we'll go higher or lower from here, hold the 95 and possibly trade up to 97, 98 where there's some interest in the options, or trade lower down to the $91 handle. So we will look into that. Also, we saw the Cushing, Oklahoma plant show a draw of about 463,000 barrels as well in that report from the American Petroleum Institution. Looking ahead to tomorrow's DOE EIA numbers, we're going to look at a forecast of just about 2 million barrels build in the crude. We're looking at about a 1.6 million barrel build in the RBOB, and in our heating oil distillates, we're looking for 750,000 barrel build in the distillates. So we are going to have to keep an eye on that report coming out from the EIA DOE at 11 o'clock tomorrow. A little different time due to the holiday week. So again, as we just mentioned, we saw vol trade a bit higher off this news here. In the pit today, we saw a few strike levels trade about over 500 lots each. We saw the 98 put trade, the March 98 put trade about 500 times. We saw the 96 to 97.5 straddle trade about 500 times. Obviously watching just the 95 straddle trade about 700 times as well, but really no big bearish positions placed below $95 yet today in the pit, so we are going to have to keep an eye on it. Again, keep in mind this 95 the bottom of a lot of these call spreads. We saw the 95 to 97 1x2 call spread trade about 500 times, and the 95.5 to 98.5 call spread, that was a 3x8 trade just about 500 times. So again, showing a little bit of bullish in the pit sentiment in the pit, but again, really have to watch this $95 area because just it's a big level. It can be the bottom of this range. Looking at the natural gas real quickly here, we saw natural gas just kind of trade in somewhat of a chop range off its highs from the 360 area. In that options pit, we saw a lot of interest in the 375 area for the next couple weeks as we are rolling into the March contract now on the natural gas in the options. Again, natural gas just holding somewhat of a chop trade because of the weather forecast that came out. Again, the last 6 to 10 day forecast indicating that there will be some modestly warm temperatures here across the United States, but in the Northeast, colder than expected temperatures, so almost balancing out in a way and not really seeing a huge offer on the natural gas, holding the $3.50 area. So again, if we can hold that $3.50 area, certainly those options traders will be correct on the fact that we could get up to the 375 area. So we are going to keep an eye on all these components here, and obviously all of our spreads and volatility here into the coming day for our inventory number tomorrow. Come join us tomorrow morning. We're going to talk about our plan of attack, market reaction to the obviously DOE numbers that came out, and also talk about the forecasts and what is happening in the pit early morning here, how locals and dealers are positioning themselves before the number at 11 o'clock. Natural gas also has its inventory as well at 10:30. So come join us tomorrow, and we'll see you then, 8:50.